What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So the partner program partner preview, whatever it's called, happened. Yesterday, day before yesterday. I think it was yesterday, whatever day it was. And yeah, I'll give you the score real quick. My score, 8.5. 8.5. I mean, because I had no there was no hype for it. I had no, there's no preconceived notions of grandeur or of super dopeness. Look, Xbox ruined it with their summer showcase. I mean, listen, you know how hard it is going to be for anyone to top that? It's going to be hard. But this, as a third party, here's some third party games coming to Xbox, it was really good, actually. If you think about it in that context, right? This is a partner preview, right? And you look at what PlayStation does with their state of plays, which is kind of like a Temu version of a partner preview, but it's actually them. And then they throw a little first party in there too, just because they got no games. So they're crutching, they're leaning on third party to look like a video game company right now. But anyway, about the partner preview, it was really, actually, all the games I wanted to check out. I mean, they're not all on Game Pass, but like the Alan Wake DLC, actually that one I might not, because I didn't play the Alan Wake 2. I didn't have the original game, so I don't know. Maybe if I get the game, maybe I'll cop that. Who knows? But the multiplayer, definitely. The FHB, Fire, I forgot what it's called now. But yeah, that thing. I was like, okay. And I was watching Unlocked. I was watching different people watch that part. And it was a different vibe. Like, for the people watching it and say, oh, okay, that's cool. Oh, you're in the oldest house. Oh, no, right? Like, interest, intrigue. Like, oh, sure, I'm gonna check it out. The exact opposite of what Concord, the failed game, the most failed game on the planet, Concord. I'm paying attention. I'm paying attention to all these games that are coming out. Even, for instance, I think I said this before, but Black TBH, the Black Hodokai, the Black Haiku. He was he was playing Fragpunks, and it was way better than Concord. And then they had what was it? Blind Fire? That was called, where you it's all dark, but then they have like glow in the dark parts and stuff, and you like ping and use your echolocation. I was like, interesting. Okay, we'll see how that goes. But all these little itty bitty shooters coming out of nowhere, left, right, and center, better than Concord. Look, there has to be like just a total breakdown of reality, massive delusional, visions of grandeur. I have to say that again, like for a better term, on Herman Holtz's part, because he's the boss. Also, tangent real quick, I was listening to Sean and Sean and Black, and they played a clip of Mooch and them, and I forgot who it was, but they said he was kind of pointing. It was like, yo, Herman Holtz said that Concord was his baby, and it's his da-da-da. And then Mooch comes to the defense of Herman Holtz. Like, wait a second, no, you know how Mooch talks, and he's trying to say that was Jim Ryan's joint. Herman Holtz inherited that, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no. Herman Holtz was in charge of games while Jim Ryan was the CEO. I mean, he was, so I don't know what the quotations for. But I'm just saying. So, and he said it was his baby. It's the next Star Wars. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, so yeah, there's some donkey unicorn. I mean, I would consider Mooch definitely a donkey unicorn. Whether he knows it or not, he is. Crap kind of straddles the line. Crap knows what he's doing. But anyway, they still suck. They don't suck, you know. I'm just saying, you know, ponies, donkey, unicorn. You know, you could be a pony, not be a donkey unicorn, and still be a cool person, I think. Anyway, last video, I talked about how OnoX Alex was talking about 343, blah, blah, blah. I know I had at least one person in the chat disagree with me and agreed with Alex. And I would say, cool. And the thing is like, I don't think I explained myself 100% correctly, or 100%. I don't think it was clarity in what I said. Okay, so I disagree with Alex's point, but what he was saying wasn't false, if that makes sense. He was saying that if 343 would just hang on to the people and not have these turnovers with the contractors and stuff, then there wouldn't be no problem. And he's right. There wouldn't be a problem. I wasn't refuting that fact. I was just saying that the problem with the engine, which is the same problem that Bungie had with that engine on Destiny, same problem that 343 was having. And it's a bad engine in that respect, where you have to wait 8 hours to rebake lights to change something in the level. That's not efficient. That's what I'm saying. And if I had to work in something like that, I mean, I have to do it now because I have a piece of crap computer and I'm working in Blender, so I have no choice. But I mean, I could work in Unreal, but it's a little different and I'm not used to it. So, you know, so I stick with Blender. Maybe I'll do some Unreal stuff with the whole Megascans thing happening. If y'all don't know, Megascans, they're changing their marketplace to, I think it's called Fab or something. And so the Megascans will no longer be free for Unreal or anybody, really. So from now until the end of the year, go grab you some Megascans assets, make up an Epic account, grab all the assets. There is a way to bridge it and to export it out. I just haven't figured it out, but I'm just getting all the assets and just gonna have them, and then I'll figure out how to export them later. Anyway, back to the original thing that I was talking about, which is the showcase, the super dope showcase. So a lot of the games that they showed on this partner preview were, in my opinion, AA games, if that makes sense. Because they're not like Grand Theft Auto, or they're not like from the first party. And so automatically, which is not a good thing, but automatically they kind of get pushed into that realm of AA. Even Wukong is kind of AA. It's not triple. I mean, it's not. Maybe it's on the line. It's on the threshold. Who knows? But it's definitely not super AAA. And speaking of Wukong, we got a game called Wukang. That's it. I think it's Wukang. With the lady girl, Fallen Feathers. And I'm looking at Monkey King, right? It's like, yeah, well known. That's a well-known story, Chinese mythology and such. And I'm looking at Homegirl, Feather Girl. And I'm like, I would rather play Feather Girl. And I also heard recently that Wulong is kind of whack in this respect. Boss fights epic, looks dope, but from boss fight to the traversing the land, going to the next boss fight, kind of whack, kind of boring, just fighting those grunts, kind of hot trash. That's what I heard. I didn't play the game, but I was like, yeah, they don't really show a lot of that in between. All I see is boss fights. I mean, they kind of did the same with Wukang, Fallen Feathers. But I want to see what I would tell you one thing. That one boss, the fox lady, the lady that was the fox, and then she turned into the fox. She was a fox. She was a lady, and then she turned to the fox it was like a fox head with a long tail, like. And then she said, and then she turned back into the lady. She was like, ah. I was like, you know what? That look all right. So I'm gonna say, Fallen Feathers better than Black Myth. Let's go. Fight me on. I don't know if it's gonna be, but we'll see. They kind of got the same flavor. Who knows? But that was interesting. There were a lot of different interesting games, like the wheels. What was it called? I forgot, Wheel something. Wheel Nation? I don't know what it's called. But you're racing bikes and you're riding bikes and it's open world racing, riding. I don't actually know if it's open world, but it looked open world, kind of. I was like, That was the most indie game that I saw there because it was of the art style. But it might be all right. Who knows? The Chronos game. Chronos, the New Dawn, the Last Dawn. I forgot what it was. Forbidden Zero Dawn. I don't know what it's called. Something Dawn. That's That's Boober. That's Bloober Team. I'm like, Boober Team done got good all of a sudden. They were practicing on the medium. They're like, let's practice. We talk about practice, so they put the medium out. Everybody's like, ew, that's doo-doo feces. And then they put out Silent Hill 2. Oh my God, did the best game ever. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, really? Is that the same Uber Boober team that did that? I don't know. And now they got this Chronos, the next Dawn, the final Dawn. Something with Dawn. And I was like, okay, we'll see what it looked like. I mean, it was interesting. I don't know what he did with the old lady he was playing chess with, but who knows? I was trying to find a correlation to okay, they're playing chess, so he's shooting zombie faces. He's playing chess too in the real. I don't know. I didn't get it. I didn't get the correlation, but whatever. We'll see. I'm sure. I'm forgetting all kind of games. There was another really colorful Souls-like game, and I was like, okay, I'd play that. There was another game, The Legend of Bubo. Bubo was the owl in Clash of the Titans. But it was the dog game. It's like a big fluffy dog. I was like, oh, that's a nice little fluffy dog. He's like, boo, right? And the little boy. I was like, hey, this is the Last Guardian, except with a regular dog. It's a big dog, but it's a regular dog. I was like, oh, okay. We can do that. Let's go. Stuff like that. Little games that aren't super duper expensive. And that comes on the heels of Sean Layden talking about, all these giant games, this is not where, and he said this before. And he also said about consoles. He said these high power consoles, we've reached the limit, basically, we've reached the ceiling of graphic fidelity. And yeah, there's diminishing returns at this point, so, and players don't really care that much. And I'm like, you think? Look at the Switch, selling the most, and it's the least capable. So, what made you think of that, Sean? You're so intelligent. You're the smartest man in the room right now. Of course that's what's happening. But Sony and PlayStation, they want to push this narrative that, the most power. And Xbox, they kind of fell into that trap a little bit. But they started off video gaming with the most powerful console. The OG Xbox was way more powerful than the PlayStation 2. Okay? Every single port, every single game that was on PlayStation 2 and OG Xbox, better on Xbox. Period. No question. There was no we're going to make it better on PlayStation because we like play. No, that didn't happen back in the day. It was like, this thing is basically a computer. Let's go. And Sony tried to take that back with the PlayStation 3, but it was a hot mess. It's like, how do you do this thing? This is what's a cell processor? This is stupid, and nobody liked it. Devs didn't like it, and it suffered. And whatever, the history of video games. But now is different. Now is different because it's like, okay, we see what the Switch is doing. We see what all these other little handhelds are doing. These handheld PCs, ROG Ally, Steam Deck, whatever else, right? There is a happy medium in between. Now, the PlayStation 5 Pro, the machine itself, there's nothing wrong with the machine itself, okay? It's an improvement on the PlayStation 5, a slight improvement. It comes to the same echelon or league of what the Xbox Series X is. Basically, that's what Phil Spencer said. He said, we did it at the beginning of the generation. We put all the power in the beginning. Boom. We don't need to upgrade. And the PS5 Pro is literally proof, because you look at the specs of the PS5 Pro and you look at the specs of the Xbox Series X, and it's like barely more than the Xbox Series X. Barely. How many more CUs? It has 4 more CUs than the Xbox Series X. I'm like, I think the speed is just barely faster because the PlayStation 5 was a slower CPU at launch, but now it's like a little bit faster. So it's like barely better than the Xbox Series X, except for, I guess, the AI chip that's in there. I'll give the PlayStation 5 Pro that. But other than that, it's Xbox Series X. That's what it is. And so Xbox, Phil Spencer, they made the right move by not following that trend, not trying to compete with Sony in a long forgotten and misguided competition. Basically, they're like, yeah, let's compete against. Like, why? We are winning when it comes to the stuff that we're doing right, and we're losing in a metric that doesn't matter anymore. It's like, so why would we want to waste money and time and resources on something that A, it's not going to make us any money, B, it's not going to do anything as far as like public perception, and three, it's misguided. It's like for I've always said this, Microsoft, I think they have bigger brains over at Microsoft than they do at PlayStation, because I'm looking at PlayStation, and I mean, they know how to make some things. They know how to make hardware. But they're messing that up, if that makes sense. If you look at the design of the PlayStation 5 and even the Pro, it's uninspired. Besides, like, its form factor, which you could say is expired, but it's ugly. So, I mean, yes, that's subjective, but come on now. It's like, would you rather have a nice minimalistic shape or this freaking Voronoi shape? Sorry, Blender. It's ridiculous. I'm like, okay, look, I mean, some people might think that's artistic, but it's, and I think what they tried to do, excuse me, is emulate the 360 design philosophy, where it was inhaling and it was like, it was sleek, but it was still like a box, and it was still like, oh, it's kind of chunky. I mean, it wasn't chunky, but it was like, oh, it's got a little something, but it was like, it's like a thick lady. It's like, yo, she thick, but she got shape though. That's what the Xbox 360 was. This thing is like, it's a dude with the collared pops, and I'm looking at this. I'm like, it's not, no. Them fins up. Why? It makes it look bigger. It's like, why would you make this giant console want to look bigger? Make it as small as possible. Anyway, the whole thing about hardware, not the race to have the most powerful console, kind of over in a way, in the traditional sense. I think that Queen Sarah Bond, this is going to be her kind of test. What the homegrown big boy Xbox, next Xbox, is going to be, is going to tell us, like, okay, well, first, I think what they will be doing is they're making the big boy Xbox for the whales, for the people who want to spend money, who want the most powerful thing, blah, 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 right? And then the handheld will be the more budget-minded, the weaker, obviously. But I hope this is what they do. I hope they keep the RAM the same in both, in the handheld and in the big boy, or at least give the handheld like 16 gigs, and then, you know, maybe have options on the big boy. Figure something out. You could do 16, you could do 24, you know, whatever, you know, maybe 20, have the extra 4 for OS, and then have regular 16. So it's more of like a PC. If they're gonna go the way of having one SKU as far as the games go, then adopt an architecture that emulates how the system would utilize RAM. So you can have a pool for the OS and not have to touch that. And so that would be system RAM, basically. And then, well, see, it still wouldn't be the same, though. I'm thinking about it, because a computer works like this. You got a CPU, you got a GPU. GPU has its own allocated memory. CPU has its own memory. Most regular computers have 16 gigs of RAM for the CPU. And if you're lucky, 16 16 is ideal for the GPU. Some are 12, some are 8. If you got 8, you're struggling. And so that would be 32 gigs. Now, if the next console, if the next Xbox has 32 gigs, then don't worry about it. Then everything is fine because they could go half and half. They don't even need half because of the way that the APU works, and it's just a faster chain. It's a shorter distance. You know, the APU GPU is right there, so that, you know, the shorter the distance, the faster it is, less latency. So that's why APU is, in some respects, good. In other respects, you lose some of the power. You know, what are you gonna do? So, but they've been able to work with it recently. So I would say stick with the APU stuff. But I think 32 gigs might be overkill. But like I said, if they do 16 and then 4, have the 4 for the OS or whatever, and then the 16 could be shared. I mean, it's gonna be APU. It's gonna be shared anyway. But you know, just I don't know. Like I said, just smarter people working these problems out. But they'll figure something out. I just hope it's more than 16 gigs for next gen. For the big boy. For the handheld, if it's 16, I'm good. Anyway, I guess I'm done talking about the partner preview. But it was good. I think what I wanted to say about the partner preview, going back a little bit, is that it was better than the state of play. And I'm like, how is this partner preview better than the state of play, which is supposed to be Sony's show? It's supposed to be first party and third party mix because they ain't got no game. And I'm like, how is Sony dropping the ball, continuously dropping the ball? And this will be the last thing. Tina Amini needs to be MVP right now because she is doing a lot of heavy lifting over at Xbox as far as perception, as far as these shows go. She is putting in work. She's doing it. I'm like, she needs a raise. You need to keep her. She needs more people. Well, I don't know if she needs more people, but whatever she's doing, give her more resources to do it even better because she is like killing it. And I've never seen. These are the best so far. These are the best. Starting in the summer, now this is even for a third party. It's crazy. But anyway. I appreciate you sharing, like and subscribe. Hit me in the comments below. Let me know what you think about the partner preview. Let me know what you think about Sean Layton's comments about hardware being, we ain't getting no more graphics and stuff. And, yeah, that's about it. I appreciate, and I'll talk to y'all on the next one. Till the wait.